Alright, I feel like we got to talk about this because, well, it bothers me, and a lot of people use this as an excuse for why they don't want to look into things. It's not a salvation issue. Okay, well, if you love Jesus, who is God, and God is truth, then the truth is a salvation issue. Because if you love Jesus / God, then you love truth. And if there's evidence that you've been lied to, then you would want to seek the truth about those lies. Because God is truth. And since we know, if you even know one instance of the mainstream having lied to you, if the pandemic didn't wake you up, I don't know if you can be woken up. It was so in your face obvious. Things just didn't make sense. There's a spider on my window. I don't know where he went. That's a really cool bronze spider there. And I'm driving. I don't know if you can see that, but that's right where my elbow goes. So I guess I won't put my elbow there. But yeah, so none of that really jived. Most people with even just a remotely open mind would be able to see this does not really add up. It just doesn't. So I don't know. I was already halfway awake to the lies when that happened. So I was out there stay home? Okay. Where should we go today? Oh, wear a mask? Okay. Let me do everything the exact opposite of whatever they're saying, because that's just how I roll. I did have a rebellious nature growing up, but, a lot of it was the truth lover in me, and also just that, I had tried so hard to be a good girl, and it never paid off. So I was like, what ifs? I'm just going to try this other stuff. And then I kind of grew out of those rebellious things that teenagers do, and I was just like, what is truth? I want to know, because I know they're lying about this, so what else is lies? And if they're doing this with the pokies, I like that name for it, I'm just going to start calling them that. That's what Toad House calls them, and it's just perfect. I don't think they've censored that term yet, so I can talk about the pokies all day. But if they're doing that, then that means they're after our children, because that's who they target with those. And since I went to school, basically medical school, but not for medicine, for chiropractic, I learned all about what those things will do to the body. And forget about mixing them all together and doing it all at once with the polysorbate 80 that crosses the blood-brain barrier. Now you've compromised the blood-brain barrier. Let's just think about what all those substances will do inside the brain, which is not supposed to be accessible by those substances. So if they're doing that to our children, why? And why is everyone just okay with that? I just need to tell people how bad these things are for them, and then they'll know, and then their kids will be okay. Wrong. No one wants to hear it. Even if you have proof, evidence, journals, articles, none of it matters, because they have already committed their soul to the mainstream medical field. They believe in that more than anything. It's crazy. And then I found out about the aborted fetal cells, and I was like, I finally found the smoking gun. They'll definitely listen to this. Christians definitely won't want to be injecting their children with that. If I can just tell them that that's in there, they'll stop doing it to their children. Wrong. They're even okay with that because it's for the greater good. Just look into the Catholics and their explanations of why it's still okay to inject yourselves with remnants of aborted fetuses. If they condone it, then it should be okay. Okay, so now we know that mainstream Christianity, which I'm not Catholic, but they're considered Catholic even though they pray to saints and all this other stuff. They do a bunch of extra stuff, but they still believe in Jesus for salvation. But they actually, when I said that, I realized no, they don't, because they don't think that Christians are saved because they don't do all the other stuff. So since they don't believe in grace only, I don't know if they're saved. Maybe some of them are. I don't know their exact relationship with Jesus. So, but whenever you add anything to grace, like, yeah, it's grace, but then you got to do this, 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 and this. Well, that's not grace. That's something else. That's works. So it's not the gospel. So, that sucks. So even more of a reason why truth is important, because that's not truth, what they're teaching in those different religions. It's not. And so we do have to stand up for truth, because it unravels all the lies. And I'm sure there's a big deception coming up that's going to get people destroyed. I mean, the Bible does say my people are lost or destroyed for lack of knowledge. So like truth, it is a salvation issue. And anyways, if you love God, you should love truth. So if somebody's telling you, like, you've been lied to about such and such, an open-minded Christian, any Christian, should be like, wait, what are you saying? Because I love truth, because I love God. So let me hear what you're saying, and I'll go investigate myself, and I'll read the Bible, and I'll ask my pastor, and I'll figure this out. And if you do that, you'll find that the pastors are under deception too. So it's just a crazy age of deception that we live in, and you really do have to do the work to like look into it and figure out what are they lying about and why. I think it's really important, because in a lot of, even if you're just talking about the salvation through Jesus, like, we have to understand that is only grace, and you can't do anything to earn it. However, once you understand that it's grace, well, now you're really going to be able to connect with God, because you're not going to live in shame and defeat and guilt because of everything you've done wrong, because you can just tell him about it and just say, I'm so sorry, and you can have this relationship with him where you can tell him everything, because he knows it all already. But it's about a relationship, and I think that's what that verse is talking about. Like, I never knew you, the one that scares a lot of Christians, because we don't want to get up there and him be like, I never knew you. And it's because we have to have a relationship with him, which, I mean, what does that look like? Well, to me, I can only speak for myself, really, but I think it's just about taking everything to him and asking him for what you need, asking him to show you truth, and letting him guide you through that. And he will, like, of course, if you're sincere and you really want it, why would he not give it to you? Now, if you have some things that are holding you back, like you don't really want the truth because you don't want to lose your friend group, or you don't want to look crazy to all your Christian friends, and so you're kind of like, I don't really want the truth, just give me the truths that won't ostracize me and make me an outcast. I don't know if he can honor that. I mean, but if you're ready to lose it all for him, that is really being committed to Jesus. Anything else is like lukewarm, if you really want to be honest about it, So is truth a salvation issue? I think it is. And even past that, just think about how many people have turned away from Christianity, the Bible, because they're like, I mean, is it even true? I mean, like, science has disproven this, that, the Bible talks about us living on some weird, flat realm where the sun moves, but science tells us it doesn't. So, like, I think science might be more right. But then if you actually trust the Bible over what science tells you, then you'll know, actually, the Bible had it right the whole time. Have you ever seen water curve around a ball, just think about the Pacific Ocean. If it's just a huge expanse of water, well, it can't be flat, and water always goes flat. So just how? Tell me how the Pacific Ocean can curve around a ball. We can look at water and how it behaves with our eyes and see that it's not going to bulge out. And if it does bulge out, if you believe the globe images that they presented you with, the blue marble, which they admit is art and it's not actually a picture of the earth, where is the bulge? Where's the uppermost peak of the Pacific Ocean? I want to go put my boat on it, and now I want to look around and be like, I'm at the top. I'm at the mountain peak of the Pacific. No, it's just not possible. Water finds its level, and if that doesn't open your mind to the fact that we've been lied to, I don't know if you're under the grand delusion spoken of in the Bible. That's like, if you love a lie, now you're going to believe all the lies, and you're just like, you're going to be blinded by, spiritually blinded, like by God, because it's like you didn't love the truth, so he's going to give you over to the lie, and you get to live your life pretending you're a Christian and not loving truth. And I don't know what that means for you. I don't know. I mean, I don't get to decide, but I just know that God is truth. And if you don't love truth, do you really love God? Are you afraid for people to judge you because you believe some crazy thing? You don't have to call yourself a flat earther. I don't. I call myself a biblical cosmologist. I believe what the Bible says. And if science doesn't line up with it, then science is probably wrong, or they're flat out lying. And that's very possible. If we're in the season of deception, it's very possible they're flat out lying to you about a lot of stuff. And if the pokies, if they lied about that, and they're literally stealing your child's health, what else could they be lying about? In medicine, in geology, in the timeline, in history, in religion? Like, you really do have to want truth and be willing to lay down your life, just like Jesus laid down his life for you.